started, and I will be using a volumetric flask for the digital bag for the volumetric flask. To start off, I'll be using a 100.00 milliliter volumetric flask, a pasture glass pipette with a bulb on the top. This is an empty 100 milliliter beaker. This is a 100 milliliter beaker with 1 gram of salt and some distilled water from the analytical balance digital bag. And this is a 150 milliliter beaker with some distilled water in it. This is a spray bottle with distilled water in it. This is a short stem plastic funnel and paraffin. So to start, it's important to make sure that the volumetric flask is okay. So it's important to rinse the volumetric flask first. So we're gonna rinse it. This is to ensure that it's clean, and if you're using it in this measurement, we'll be using distilled water, but if you're using something other than distilled water, it's important to clean the volumetric flask and then also coat it with your other solution. Once this has been cleaned, I'm going to dump it into an empty beaker. It's important to check that there are not many air bubbles or water bubbles in here, or else that will mess up the overall volume that you were trying to measure, and it won't be very accurate, because this is a very accurate measured device. So the salt from the analytical balance was already transferred into this beaker. It was quantitatively transferred, which is important because you are not just pouring solid salt into the volumetric flask. Instead, we'll be pouring a solution. So there's salt, and then we add some water, and we make this a solution just so that it's easier to pour into the volumetric flask. So it's called quantitatively transferring this salt solution into the volumetric flask. And since this is a relatively narrow pipe, we're going to use a small plastic funnel. If this funnel were to be glass, you might want to try to hold it up or use a paper clip, just so that there's not glass on glass. And then we will pour this solution into the volumetric flask like this. And what we can do here is use some distilled water to get out the rest of that solid salt. We're just going to turn that, make sure that we really get all of that salt solution out so that we have the accurate amount of solid in our volumetric flask. So we'll put this down. And then we also want to make sure that it's all out of the funnel, so we'll give this a rinse as well. Lift it up a little bit, and then we'll take this out and set it to the side. So this is now all the salt solution that was measured accurately with the analytical balance is in the volumetric flask. And instead of just using distilled water from the bottle to fill up 100 milliliters, which will take a very long time. This is distilled water from the tap and the purified water tap. And I will be looking at eye level to get it into a range that's close to the 100 milliliter line. At this point, the water is a couple of milliliters below the desired line. So the next step to make sure that this is as accurate as we can be is to use a pass-through pipette with the bulb on top to transfer the rest of the water into the volumetric flask. Before you do that, you want to make sure there's not much air bubbles from pouring that. So we're going to do a slight drip on the end of that paraffin. And we're going to stretch the top. Cover it onto the side, and after we secure it, you just hold it like this and you give it a shake, and you can go up and down, and this ensures that all the air bubbles get out. And it's mixing the solution a little bit as well. After it's mixed thoroughly, we can see. You can give it a tap as well. There are no air bubbles in here. So we're going to take this off. I'm going to set it to the side. We're going to use the pass-through pipe to put the rest. I'm looking at eye level so that I can ensure not to make an error. Make sure that the meniscus is at the bottom of the line. At this point, whenever I'm looking at this at eye level, I'm not sure if you can tell from this angle from the video, but from eye level, this matches the water's meniscus is at the surface meniscus is at the crest line, which indicates that there's 100 milliliters, 0.00 of solution in this volumetric flask. The last step is to cover this with a piece of paraffin. So you want to stretch it over like this and then wrap it around the sides. general, when using parafilm, you can use 2 pieces for solutions that aren't just water, but for the purpose of this video, 1 piece of parafilm will suffice. Now you have a tight cover, and you have 100.00 milliliters of solution in this volumetric box.